All right, so let's take a quick look into constants in Golang. A constant is used to represent a fixed value. So this means that that value cannot change once it's created in the application. So what it is set as is what it will be. So let's create one really quick just so we can see what exactly I'm talking about. So to create a constant in Golang, we use the keyword const. And I am going to use the name n to associate that constant. This n is going to be constant of a value of 100. So boom, that's how you create a constant. And now this n is always going to be 100. If we try to set this n equal to 20, Golang is going to get mad because it's going to say, cannot assign to n. This is a constant value of 100, right? So it knows at runtime that this is going to be 100 no matter what. It cannot be changed. Now, if you realize already, you probably see that we didn't even give this a type. What does that mean? It means this is an untyped constant. Now, this could be a good thing or a bad thing, depending on what you would want to do. So if you know that you want it to be an int for sure, or if you want it to be an int 16 or 32 or int 64, you can do that. You can set this to whatever you want. This will pretty much let Golang know that this is going to be a constant of that specific type. And you know we talked about that in a previous tutorial on how you cannot mismatch types. So if we're going to use this n, we have to make sure wherever we're going to use it has to be also an int32. It cannot be int64. It cannot be int16. It has to be int32. Now if we let this stay untyped, now we can kind of mess around with it. We have like a little bit of leeway with that. So let's take a look. So now we have n, this is going to be a constant of 100, is untyped, but let's make another variable called, let's call it value. And we're going to make this equal to it. We're actually going to make another variable, and I'm going to make this equal to an int, or actually a float, just so that you can see what I'm talking about, a float 32, and I'm going to make this 4.5. And now I'm going to make this n times m. And it's just saying that it's not, it's declared but not used. But before, right, it would get mad if we try to mismatch types. But because this is untyped, it gives us some leeway to actually, maneuver with other types. So now we can see that, okay, this is a value, it's a number, and we're going to use it against a float 32. So it's automatically going to, set it to be able to use with a float 32. It's untyped, so we see that as a number, so it will still technically work. So Golang won't get mad. But if we actually explicitly set this as an int 32, Golang will get mad. So it really depends on what do you need. If you know you're gonna use a specific type, then you can set the type from the jump or the get-go. But if you know that you don't know exactly what you're going to use this n or this constant for, then you can leave it as untyped, and now you have the leeway to use it in different ways. And obviously, like, you can't really do, like, let's say you try to make this a string, it's gonna be weird. Or if you try to do this untyped with a string, it's gonna be like, what are you doing? It's still an untyped string. But if it's an untyped number, it won't get mad. Like, you can do 4.2, you can do whatever, as long as it's in the same family, then it won't get mad. But if you're going to do some mathematical operations and you're going to need this constant of n, and it's a number against a number, then it's fine. Or if it's a string against a string, then it's fine. But if you explicitly set the type, then you're kind of restricting yourself to only be able to do mathematical operations with that specific type. So that's the cool thing about untyped and typed constants. You just have to figure out what exactly that you need, and you gotta make sure that that this is gonna stay whatever value that you set initially. So this 4.2, this n for 4.2 is gonna be 4.2 forever while the application is running. And we can actually just use this really quick. 4 times 4.5 should be 18. So let me just print that out. And print out value. Save that. Go run. And then boom, 18. So this works as expected. We didn't even give it a type because, like I said, it's an untyped int, but because it's untyped, it gives us some leeway to be able to intertwine with other types. So if it's a float 32, or even if it's a float 64, or even if it's an int, 32, whatever, it won't get mad. Or actually, it will get mad here because I'm using a float, but it won't get mad if I try to use it, in a mathematical operation, because this isn't untyped. We didn't explicitly set the type. So that is a constant in Golang. I believe it will be very useful wherever you try to use it, as long as you know that you want to keep that value for the whole application. Maybe you want to set a constant to for a password that is going to stay the same for the whole application. Like usually for databases, that is going to stay that same value while the application is running. You may need a variable to hold the DB password. And if it does change, then you would just stop the application and put the new value in. So hope you guys enjoy that, and stay tuned for the next one.